So the group stage of the World Cup is done. There are some interesting stories. There are some sad stories that people in here will have to talk about. But here we are for another episode of the Sudamericans Podcast. Martin, before we dive into all of that good stuff, how are you feeling, my man? Really? Open
I
your
am
heart.
destroyed, man. I am destroyed. I am destroyed. The whole Bielsa situation just got me thinking, man.
Damn. I know that the game was on Friday. We're recording on Sunday. How was your Saturday? Did you lock yourself in your room with the curtains closed, not talking to anyone?
Sort of. I mean, there's all this situation between Bielsa and the media, you know.
Yeah.
So on Saturday, as Friday ended, I couldn't stop watching Twitter and TV and everything to see what were the players going to say. And then the next day, I went to a supermarket just to buy a few groceries, and I got to see one of the worst journalists in Uruguay, one of the biggest operators in the world, and I was like, man, I know who you are. I didn't say anything, but I knew he was happy.
I'm gonna throw a tomato in your face, you son of a bitch. But anyway, that and much more. But before that, eu sou o Rod.
Yo soy Martín.
And we are Sudamericans. All right, we're back to discuss this group stage of the World Cup 2026. Actually, before we dive into the specifics, Martin, before the World Cup started, we were kind of pessimistic, truly pessimistic about some stuff. But I don't know what's your take on it. It's kind of going well, isn't it?
Brazil is my way to go now, man. Eu sou brasileiro, cara. Just like that, man. I'm now Diego Silveira.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so all my trust is put into Ancelotti's team. I hope this situation with the international managers now being able to win the World Cup, it gets broken with Ancelotti, who's the best manager in the World Cup.
Yeah, you're not called Martin anymore. You're going to be called Martinho.
Martinho, yeah. But actually, my second name is Diego, and my second last name is Silveira.
So you're Brazilian at heart.
Yeah, precisely. Especially with you guys. I don't know if anyone. I mean, I think nobody knows this, but Brazilians use the mother's last name actually.
Oh yeah. We talked about that sometime before, right? Like my mother's last name is first, and then my father's last name is last. So yeah,
that's rare.
So we have a lot to talk about. Some highlights, some disappointments. So let's first dive into some of the highlights, the general highlights of the World Cup. This is the all the teams that classified. Classified. That's another word. That got through. Qualified. That's it. The qualified.
This is a Sudamericans Podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Please excuse the English skills of the host and co-host, but there are some highlights. I want to hear your take on it. But some teams that actually surprised me. First of all, one of the hosts of this tournament, the United States. Mm-hmm. They're really showing some solid form, and that's the responsible for that is actually a Sudamerican, Pochettino. He was destroyed at Tottenham. He was destroyed at all of these other teams, but he found his way in the how they say the USMNT, the United States Men National Team, which is I'm sorry, this is a terrible name. This is a terrible nickname. You guys have to create a better nickname for your national team. But he's really responsible for getting this team together, man. Have you watched lots of United States matches in the group stage?
So, let's not get into that.
Okay.
I actually watched before the World Cup. I watched Uruguay against the United States. Mm-hmm. And they were good, they surprised me 5-1. It was a super interesting game, but after that, I mean, I knew that they were super. It's weird, I felt like they just did everything right, mm-hmm. If you invest in the youth, if you invest in your league, if you get a good league, if you're trying hard for people to like your sport, and then you bring the best player in the world to your league, well, naturally your football will improve, and obviously, of course, if you add to all of that, you add a high quality manager. So eventually, what happened is that the United States became a stronger side. Still, I think they kind of fell off a little bit against Turkey, who are crazy for winning one game that didn't get qualify them to the airport.
Yeah. Actually, Turkey is going to be one of my disappointments because damn, like they were really they were they were a promising side before the World Cup started, with Arda Güler and all that gang. But the United States really surprised me. And actually, I don't know how this is being repercuted in Uruguay or in other places of the world, but the biggest story, at least here in Brazil, is Cape Verde. I mean, I recommended this channel a couple of episodes back, which is Copa 90, and they're doing like a documentary called the World Cup. They're traveling to different places to see how these different nations, these newcomer nations, are behaving and how they are feeling in watching the World Cup. And they went to Cape Verde, and it was just like the whole island was partying for like getting a draw with Spain and with Uruguay and stuff. Uh, and I don't know if you follow this specific story of their goalkeeper called Vozinha.
Vozinha. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what Vozinha is in Portuguese?
No.
Vozinha means like little grandma. So this nickname got in the good graces of the Brazilian people, and they after the first game against Spain, Casa TV, which is one of the broadcasters, one of the official broadcasters here in Brazil, they promoted like a campaign to rise the number of followers Vozinha had on Instagram, and he went from like I don't know 4,000 or 40,000 to 17 million, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like
yeah.
insane. And people are already talking about like, oh, for sure he's gonna be hired by a Brazilian club. He's going to be playing the second division by the end of the year. So, I mean, the guy did a great match against Spain. I don't know. I didn't watch it live, but have you seen his like performance?
Against Spain, I watched him, and it was crazy. Like, I think that it wasn't only Bozinha's work. I think the whole defense of them is really solid. They're really good at that.
Yeah.
They are like very disciplined players. Like in
Mhm.
general, they all like follow a very structured plan for every single game, and
Mhm.
it seems to be working for them. Personally, I don't think that they have like that much. Like if you think about the game against Uruguay, for example,
Mhm.
I mean, both goals were just like part of a disastrous participation from Uruguay at the World Cup.
Yeah.
But it's just a feeling that I've got. Like they're good, but also they were lucky and they were able to use that luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
But part of that is that I'm angry because they draw against us and we are out of the World Cup and they are
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna dive into that soon. But let's see how they fare against Messi now. Let's see if
Yeah.
Vozinha. Actually, there's lots of Brazilians now hoping that there's a penalty for Argentina and Vozinha saves from a kick from Messi because this would be like party in Brazil. But let's see how they do against Argentina. But actually, just to finish up this Instagram story, as soon as Vozinha hit like I don't know like 10 million 10 million followers, the guys they started to check out who he was following, and he started following me like 2,000 hot chicks. So the guy doesn't waste any time. He's smart, and I'm sure he will be playing in a Brazilian club to the end of the year for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you see him? Do you see him out Paranense?
No, no, no. We have good goalkeepers. We don't need him. But actually, I heard that he was being like speculated or like something in Sport Recife
Yeah.
from Pernambuco. So I don't doubt it. They don't really have much money, but I don't doubt that he ends up in there. But besides this story, we also have this is feels like a World Cup of the protagonists. This is like a very shitty picture now that I realize. But these are like the top goal scorers of the World Cup. We have Messi with a surprising performance in the first games. We have Vini Jr., Mbappe, and Haaland really making a presence in their games. Um, and I see this being commented by a lot of people that this is the World Cup of the heroes, the protagonists, the strikers. How do you see that, man? Like it feels like they are embodying the spirit of the World Cup.
I feel like this is the evolution of the past World Cups final,
Mhm.
where there basically was a clash of heroes, as you said. Basically Mbappe against Messi, and now they are all like super, super, super focused on like bringing basically their stats, like maxing them out.
Yeah.
But I think this picture also like gets to shows us how our teams playing. Like the big teams, they are like following their stars, just like
Mhm.
Argentina did in 2022.
Yeah.
So I think it will be interesting to see how they behave in games where there's nothing left.
Yeah.
Like I think that in general, well, this is pretty an average comment, but I mean, group stage games and knockout stage games, they are really different.
Yeah.
So Argentina against Cape Verde, it it can be something, but it can become something completely different. Like the style that Cape Verde plays, I don't know if it's going to work in a in a game
uh,
with a with the characteristics of
when the stakes are high.
yeah, precisely.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people claiming that Argentina will destroy them. I'm not sure if that's the case. I would be very aware of it. But anyways, let's see how they do. Actually, I want to talk about Vini Jr. in a later segment of the episode. But something I find it very interesting, following like Twitter and Instagram, is like Haaland is being such a character in this World Cup. Like he's being the North Americans, the United States people, they're getting to know who Haaland is, and he's such an eccentric guy. It was today. No, yesterday I saw a video of him eating like a full fucking hamburger from one of these fast food restaurants from the United States, and he was like just devouring the stuff. He really is like enjoying the setting,
Yeah.
He's just not focused just on the games. But yeah, Holland has
Yeah,
been such a
it was a weird. What do you think about Norway playing against France with a second team, knowing that they wouldn't win?
I mean, I saw a comment about that, and I think I tend to agree. Like I don't think they have their hopes that high in this tournament, but they're just like, I'm happy to be here, so I'm gonna how do you say this, like poupar? I'm gonna like save my big stars for the next game.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. They seem just so chill about it. I
Yeah,
don't think they're taking it that seriously. They're just so chill.
yeah, yeah. It's weird, Like I don't know, man. If you're playing the 7 most important games of the year, I think that you should like use everyone, except for like something like what happened to Mexico or America,
Mhm.
where they were already qualified and they were 100% sure that they will top the group. So
Yeah,
in
that
that
makes
case, well,
sense.
you can use Memo Choa and stuff like that.
Yeah, that
But
makes sense.
Norway, I don't know, man. I think maybe winning against them, it can get you like some lessons or whatever. I don't know.
Mhm. Let's see how they fare. Who we will talk about that soon, but who will they be facing in the second stage? I'm
Now I
I'm
don't
I'm
know.
I'm, I'm
I'm not
forgetting
sure.
now. We
Yeah.
will talk about it soon, yeah. But after besides the highlights, there are some disappointments as well. So here we have the the countries that got. I always forget the word. It's not relegated. It's not disqualified. Eliminated. Yeah,
Eliminated. Yeah.
eliminated. And there's a specific South American country here we're going to talk about soon enough. But the most disappointing nation to me, not the most, but one nation that really disappointed me was Turkey because they really seemed strong coming to this World Cup. And by the second game, they had no chances at all.
Yeah. Yeah. That was kind of sad.
Yeah.
I mean, if you lost against Australia, I don't know, man. You just need like more time. I don't know if you
Mhm.
knew about this, but actually, Uruguayan. I mean, for some reason, Australians hate Uruguayans in football. It's
Why?
it's a weird story, but basically, for a really long time, Uruguay ended in the Hepesca. How do you say that?
Pescaging, it would be no idea.
Well, basically, in that game that you need to play to qualify to the World Cup when
Yeah,
you're like, the worst one that gets to the World Cup.
yeah, yeah.
And usually, we with the old format, we were always facing like Australia.
Mhm.
Like for a bunch of time, we faced Australia, and then once they beat us, and it was crazy. Like they did a whole documentary story of how it went, and they went to I think it was 2002, if
Huh?
I'm not mistaken. And now that we got out of the World Cup, there were like Australians like tweeting like against us.
Really?
Yeah, like
Damn,
celebrating that we were out.
damn, damn. That maybe we should do an episode one day, like most random national rivalries in the world, in football,
Yeah.
because this seems so random to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But other thing that I think it's worth mentioning is Iran already eliminated, and with some controversies because the Iranian captain, if I'm not mistaken, he was like, we got set up. There was some questionable decisions by the referees, and we got some goals that were like invalid or something. And this is just because they want to kick us out of the tournament as fast as possible. So FIFA is not staying out of trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the whole Iran situation is kind of fucked. Like
Mm,
I'm not quite. I don't really know why there's a war in Iran. To be honest, like
yeah.
I'm ignorant about that topic, but it it was complicated.
Yeah. So now moving on from the group stage.
Wait, but also there's one nation that we didn't mention, and it was
Oh,
Korea.
oh yeah, South Korea.
Korea getting knocked out of the World Cup against, and I remember I watched the game against Mexico.
Uh-huh.
Did you see that game?
No, I watched very, very few of it.
Well, basically, what happened was that Korea and Mexico were tying as expected. Actually, I was imagining Korea winning, to be honest, but because I wasn't really aware of the Mexico team, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And basically, what happened was that the Korean goalkeeper was to like get a ball that was in the air, and when he landed in the floor, one of his teammates was like getting up from the floor because there was like a header situation, you know.
Uh-huh.
The goalkeeper got the ball, and when he landed to the floor, his teammate was like trying to get up, and he like he sort of didn't land properly and lost the ball, and then Mexico scored. And for that, like super stupid goal, like really, we you should check out that goal because it's really stupid. They are out of the World Cup, you know. They basically had the same problem as Uruguay. They got into trouble in sort of easy games, and well,
because of
had to play their lives against the last team, you know.
Yeah, because of individual errors, you know. But it's weird. In the episode with Andre, we were talking about like the good prospects of South Korea and how we were like hopeful for them. And actually, I didn't know they were eliminated until I went to search for this picture because I was sure they had qualified, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, South Korea is gone? What the fuck?
Yeah,
How
actually, South Africa got on their place.
Yeah,
South Africa, who, if you might remember, after the first game, which they got 3 players sent off, actually were able to like get back from such a bad performance and actually qualify to the round of 16. So, well, actually, round of 32, right?
Round of 30. Yeah, 32. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, South Korea, very disappointing performance as well. But now we have some, and people are calling this like the round of 32, the second stage, call it like whatever you want. But these are the games, these are some of the games that we will have starting actually today. Actually, while we are recording, there's the South Africa and Canada game happening. By any chance, can you search how that game is going right now?
Yeah, it's 0-0.
Oh.
54 minutes, 0-0. And in the penka, here I put okay, I'm not gonna be able to do this. Maybe if I do like this.
Okay.
There we go, maybe.
Yeah.
Come on, focus, please.
Okay, 0-0.
Okay, no, impossible. But yeah, I said it was going to be 1-1.
Oh, I mean, maybe from all of the matches, this is like the least expected one. I don't know about you, but
I didn't know they were playing.
yeah, and this is the only match happening today, so that's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
But tomorrow, finally in Brazil, we're so happy that we're going to be playing in the afternoon and we won't have to work. Like tomorrow feels like a national holiday, man. Everyone is like getting ready for a party and to leave work early. My work will be like that as well. we will start working earlier, and by like 1 p.m. we will be like free to do whatever we want. Yeah.
But how did you watch the past Brazilian games?
So actually, I'm going to talk about that soon. But it feels like the team is getting back on track. I don't feel as confident as I was expecting to be by this point of the tournament, but it seems like things are getting on stride. You know, like first game, awful. Second game, a bit better, but it was against Haiti, so there was not much to expect. And against Scotland, decent performance. Some individual performances really shining through. But yeah, tomorrow's the real test because we lost to Japan in a friendly before the World Cup.
No aliens against Scotland.
No aliens. Yeah, as everybody was expecting. So we will be actually playing tomorrow.
But my question was actually, how did you watch the games? Like, did you watch them at work or what?
Oh no, the first one I watched with some friends from college. The second one I watched with some friends from high school, and the third one I watched with some random people that I knew and that everybody got together.
Yeah.
And so
was it that like working hours or what?
All of the matches were during the night, unfortunately.
Right.
Everybody was pissed off when the World Cup started because we were not getting like liberated, like free to skip work and stuff like that, you know. But finally, tomorrow, that day has come. But some other interesting matches here. We have our Paraguayan brothers facing Germany, which I don't know about you, but Germany from the top European sides doesn't seem like that, that much of a monster.
Yeah, I mean, Paraguay is a monster for themselves.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I really like some Paraguayan players, like Enciso, for example, seems like a super enthusiastic player for me.
Mhm.
But I don't know how that game will go. Like
Yeah,
I'm super curious. I think I never watched a Germany against Paraguay team.
yeah, yeah. Then we have Netherlands against Morocco, really interesting game, and also is it Cote d'Ivoire? I think it's Cote d'Ivoire in English as well
Yeah, yeah,
against
yeah.
Norway. Against Norway,
Ivory Coast. It's Ivory.
Ivory Ivory Coast. Yeah, very interesting game against Norway as well. And France, who to me is the top one performers of the World Cup so far, facing against Sweden. I'm not sure if it's gonna be easy, man. I'm kind of hopeful for that Sweden can beat them in the second stage, but these are three very interesting games.
Yeah, yeah. I'm curious also about the Congo against England game. I mean, I feel like Congo are actually like some sort of dark horses in a
Yeah,
way that like nobody's talking about them. Everybody's hoping that they just get disqualified,
yeah,
eliminated at some point because it doesn't make sense that they are there.
yeah,
But maybe I mean I think they had a decent game against Colombia and
yeah.
Portugal, so they're a rival to be aware of.
Yeah, I think that the spotlight is on Cape Verde, and people are not talking about Congo. You're absolutely right. And in Portuguese, we have the term cometer o crime, which is like commit the crime, which
Mhm.
is an unexpected result to happen. And I think they can commit the crime against England. I don't doubt it.
What happens if Brazil beats Japan?
We might face I think it's Colombia. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
I think we can face Colombia at some point. Argentina would be in the semifinals. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure who would be in the
Yeah, but
round of
you're in the
16.
same side as Cape Verde, Argentina.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
the easy side.
yeah. And then we have these other matches happening. Belgium against Senegal, quite an interesting one. The United States should have no problem beating Bosnia. I'm sorry to the Bosnian fans who are watching this. Portugal against Croatia would be interesting as well. Let me ask you, what do you think of Spain? Because they haven't convinced me one bit in the group stage. I mean, like they really beat Saudi Arabia, but they really were not convincing enough to me, at
Well,
least.
they came to the World Cup with a huge like sign, like they were coming like we won the Euros, we're the good like a really strong side, we were playing good.
Yeah,
But I mean, against Cape Verde, they didn't have any sort of verticality. They were like passing the ball around. Basically, they weren't finding spaces.
hmm,
Then I think they corrected that with Saudi Arabia, who
yeah,
basically had the same plan as Cape Verde, and with some more quality, I think. But if the first goal gets in, then you just have to wait until the last one uh,
yeah,
gets in. And
yeah.
then the Uruguay game, it was really weird because first of all, uh, I mean, I think that they could have done more. I don't know if they were really trying like hard or something.
Hmm,
And then they began to put like substitutes and stuff, and then they had like a hell lot of injuries.
hmm,
So right now they only have like one winger who's Lami Jamal, who's not
yeah.
even like
Really, are we?
completely fit.
Yeah,
So that's a weird situation. I don't know. Back in 2010, they weren't really uh, like the crazy nation that's scoring like a hell lot of goals and everything, and they got the World Cup. So maybe it's a similar case, but
yeah,
maybe it's not.
yeah.
I mean, if you ask me who's winning Spain against France, I think I have no clue.
No quit. Really?
I,
I,
I think I used the wrong word.
yeah. You have no doubt, maybe.
Yeah, no doubt. Clue
Yeah. Oh,
meant something else.
France would destroy them for
Yeah,
sure. For
I don't like
sure.
them, but they're
Yeah.
just too good. Like I don't like them because they're like the villains of the World Cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
The best team, the best players. Mbappé gets injured. They have like seven guys who are like 90% of all Mbappé is
Yeah.
ready to get into. So I don't really like them, but for that particular reason.
Yeah. Yeah. We got Portugal against Croatia. Clash of the 40 plus guys. Modric against Ronaldo. This should be fun to watch.
That's
Then
a very Euros kind of game, right?
yeah, yeah. Portugal
Portugal
against
against
Croatia.
Croatia seems like such a Euros game.
Yeah. Switzerland against Algeria, Australia and Egypt, Argentina and Cape Verde. We talked a little bit about, and Colombia against Ghana will be interesting. I think that all of the South American nations, Colombia might be the not the best performant, but the most consistent or the most solid. I really liked the football they were playing in the group stage.
Yeah. Did you watch yesterday Colombia against Portugal?
A little bit, yeah. It was kind
Yeah.
of disappointing because of the 0-0, but it was solid.
I didn't watch the game, but I heard that they were really good, and they kind of were robbed for an offside situation. I mean, it was offside, but it was
It,
like his fucking like knee or something. Like
yeah,
it
I,
was
I
crazy.
I watched that moment live. It was really bullshit. Like and they got the VAR decided so quickly. It felt really weird because it was like 5 seconds stopped, and then like, okay, let's go ahead and like how did you check that so fast? It felt weird. But
Yeah.
anyways, but I've counted 5 South American nations here, and I remember that the World Cup started with 6. Martin, what happened, man? What
What
the fuck
didn't happen?
happened? Yeah.
What didn't happen?
Okay, we have some specific stuff to discuss about this, but first, where did you watch the last game? What was the feeling before it, and how are you feeling now, man?
The first of all, the game I watched it actually kind of had like a weird side quest in which I was like babysitting. Uh,
Really?
yeah, my girlfriend's cousins
Uh-huh.
with my girlfriend, so we watched the game there. Uh,
Actually, let me just ask you: you didn't do the same thing that babysitter did to you in the 2014 World Cup, right? You didn't take
no,
them to
no,
the
no.
movies,
They could watch.
right?
They actually weren't home, so they had like
Okay.
a plan with friends, and we were just taking care of the house.
Uh-huh.
So here's the thing. Last week, we had a draw against Cape Verde,
Hmm.
and the situation was heavy. Like
Yeah.
it was a complex situation. It was hard. It was hard. That
Yeah.
that was a hard moment. So throughout the week, people began to believe. A
Okay.
little bit. First
That's
day
good.
it was zero. Second day, third day, and then you begin to watch the stats, and journalists begin to make the tactical analysis and stuff. And then at some point, we began to realize that maybe there was a chance. We
Hmm.
could like sort this out. And when the game began, I mean, people were like divided between there's some hope
Hmm.
or like how many goals are Spain going to score against us,
Yeah.
And I had this feeling where the players they kind of believed, we could go through.
Hmm.
And in the middle of the week there was a journalist who's known to lie a lot actually,
Okay.
who came up with he didn't came up with it, he was talking about a situation that happened in Mexico with the players who basically told Marcelo Bielsa they didn't want to train anymore.
Hmm.
The situation was basically not
And,
good, and
mhm.
like they were basically mad at him.
Yeah.
So some people began to question this. Others began to say like, okay, we're fucked. We're even more fucked than this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the takeaway was that the game began, and right, because the situation was that Bielsa apparently wanted to play like the same as Spain, right?
Mm.
And the players wanted to play defensively. They wanted
Yeah.
like to play,
To play more reactively.
yeah, to park the bus against Spain,
Yeah. Play in
And
transition.
Bielsa apparently what happened was that he said, "Okay, let's park the bus, do whatever you want. I don't care anymore about this." So we went to the game and we began to have like a good one, Like I saw Sanabria, which is a left back from the MLS, who was defending Lamine Yamal,
Yeah.
and he was actually doing a good job, Like Lamine Yamal
Given the
didn't do anything
circumstances,
in the
yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we didn't have like a horrible game, but then there was this isolated situation in which Alex Baena, who's Fede Valverde's best friend, by the way,
Hmm.
I don't know if you know that,
No, no.
he actually had a problem with Fede Valverde back. I think it was last year, as Fede Valverde lost a children, who was like I don't know, some situation like that,
Hmm.
and he basically was making fun of Valverde during a game
Holy
because of
shit.
the situation that he went through.
Yeah, yeah.
Basically, what happened was that Valverde waited for him in the parking lot of the stadium and punched him in the face.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was like a like crazy situation back then. So they were facing each other once again, and the guy scored, but Verde didn't do anything. He was sent off by Bielsa, which was like
Yeah.
crazy. We changed the goalkeeper, everything.
Yeah.
Muslera.
Actually, as you mentioned that, I want a quick moment to recognize the 5 times goalkeeper. Round of applause. Playing 5 World Cups, not for everybody. Man, what the fuck did Muslera do this tournament, man? Because I was checking uh, when I saw the goal that Spain scored, I was like, that's not his first like fuck up of the tournament, right? I remember people because I didn't watch the first game of Uruguay, but I remember people saying like, "Oh, Muslera tomou frango," like as we say in Portuguese, like um, he let a goal happen easily. And then I went to check every Uruguay game, and he dropped the ball, man. He just fucked up in every game.
Yeah, I mean, every goal that was scored against Uruguay was basically because of Muslera.
Yeah,
Like every single situation has Muslera doing something wrong. And it's weird because Muslera didn't even wasn't a part of the Bielsa process throughout the last 4 years.
I was gonna, yeah, I was gonna ask you that because he had retired from the national team, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he was at Gala. I mean, he's sort of an idol in there for some reason, which that makes me doubt a lot about the Turkish league, by the way.
Football, yeah.
But the thing is, he was like doing well in there. He decided to leave the national team, becoming like 38, 37 years old. It's natural for that to happen.
Understandable, yeah.
And Bielsa was like playing Rochet, which is the Inter de Porto goalkeeper, right?
Yeah.
Which he's good, but he's having like a lot of problems. In the past year, I think he broke his a part of his body, which I don't know how to say in English. But anyway,
okay.
The thing is, yeah, I mean, for some reason, Bielsa saw that Muslera was doing really well at Estudiantes de La Plata. Yeah. Like he was seriously going for him. And yeah, he basically said, okay, fuck it. Let's use this guy who's playing well. And he's probably going to like improve our chances of not receiving goals. The problem is that Bielsa doesn't know that Muslera has been ruining our lives since 2010.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's a video. I mean, he's a great goalkeeper. No, but I mean, he's a good goalkeeper. He like catches like important balls, But then has the problem that every single game he's like having like a terrific mistake that causes us to receive a goal, Like he's 99% excellent, but 1% terrifically bad.
Yeah.
Right. So that is an issue, 2010 against Ghana, 2 goals, his responsibility. Against Netherlands, same situation. In 2018 against France, he touches the ball, but then gets it inside the net.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think that just Bielsa didn't know him that much and thought like, okay, this guy is old. He might be good for the team, for the players that are trying like to like they are having like a terrible relationship with him. So perhaps Muslera playing in the team makes everything be better.
Could be a leader in the dressing room. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, it didn't work out.
Yeah. I mean, I think the feeling maybe like if Germany called up Neuer, why the fuck not call Muslera, But anyway, and the other main character of this, Bielsa, and I was talking to you before the recording. After Uruguay got eliminated, my Twitter feed was all about discussions about Marcelo Bielsa, like, oh, this guy is a fraud. He didn't actually win anything relevant in his life. And the other side were like, no, he's a tactical genius. He's like a legend of the sport. I have my personal take on it, but I wanted to hear from you. Like, what's your after the fact, after the elimination? What's your feeling towards Bielsa? I know that you're reading a book about him right now. Yeah. So, how did you view him before, and what's the take on him now?
I've got mixed feelings towards him because, since during my entire life, I was always been able to see Uruguay playing horrible bad football. Mm-hmm. Like every time we were facing Brazil, it was like, okay, we're definitely going to lose this time. Maybe Brazilians don't think about this, but it is obvious that the best possible outcome is that we draw. With Argentina, it was pretty much the same. So, and in general, the feeling was like, we are not going to perform well. Yeah. We might because we have like great players. And then well, we got the 2022 World Cup situation and everything, and Marcelo Bielsa came, played a few random games against Cuba and El Salvador or something, and there wasn't many changes,
Yeah.
But then Uruguay began to improve, Uruguay began to play like a more associative game, like we were passing the ball, making like interesting stuff, and the peak of that was in 2023 against Brazil and Argentina, which we beat them like playing as any time in our lives. I remember going to one of those games and I couldn't believe it. I remember taking a photo with the screen at the Estadio Centenario that said Uruguay 3, Brazil 0, because I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And that made me, and that caused in me like a huge feeling of trusting him. Like, I mean, no one else in the world could do something like that.
The guy built credibility really fast, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then we had the Copa America, which we did great, actually. Like a third place is the best we've ever had since the 2011 Copa America. But for some reason, the dressing room was broke. Suarez got mad. He began to say stuff to media. Fede Valverde, he was like saying everything's right. He's like a bad person. He doesn't even says hi to us or whatever.
Yeah.
And from there,
I'm just gonna change the picture real quick
because
you mentioned about him fighting with the media in the dressing room, and I think like that's the main take on him. Like he's not a very good people manager, right?
Yeah, I know. He actually has an interview, a press conference in which he says he describes himself as a toxic person because because he doesn't have that that warmth that's important for all of us in Latin America, especially, and this photo actually reminds me, because it's kind of funny, but actually reminds me of the 2024 Copa America as well, because at the end of the Colombia game, there were problems with fans, like kind of harassing the families of the players and everything. And he was the only one who went on to media to defend the Uruguayan players and everything that happened. Like, he was really angry, which surprised me because you never get to see him like that. Except from this situation as well.
Yeah, the screenshot.
But it was weird how he went on to defend the players, but then the players actually hated him,
Yeah. I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that he describes himself as a toxic person, because the guy does have some self-critic, the capacity to make a self-critic. One thing that really surprised me was one of the final comments, the final words he had after the game. He was questioned like, "Oh, what's your legacy here in Uruguay?" And he mentioned like, "Oh, I will leave nothing. There's nothing good left from my time here," or something like that. So these are very strong words. And you mentioned the toxic stuff. I think that Diego Lugano mentioned some things about he contaminated the dressing room. I think that's the term. So it's
I don't know, man.
Very controversial, man.
I think he got a lot of things wrong. I'm not here saying like, no, he's like a genius and like we are absolutely wrong. The players like shouldn't have a voice or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, I think about two things here. First of all, I think that, for example, Fede Valverde at some point of his life was basically trying to get Xabi Alonso out of Real Madrid and Bielsa out of Uruguay.
Yeah.
So that gets to tell you a lot about the player, like how is somebody like able to do such a thing? How do you have so much power, and then on the field you're doing nothing. You're not like making such a big difference, at least for Uruguay. So that's one thing. And the second one, which we were talking about, is the fact that what would these guys do working at a supermarket, like having an actual boss, like an actual person who's like the authority. Like they don't respect any form of authority, and that's the result. I mean, I know it is important to have like a warmth and to ask your coworkers or whatever, like, how was your day, and to be like more human. But man, you're making millions. You're representing your nation. Like, you'll
never be above the nation and above the team, right? And this is something that they're missing the point here, right? They think themselves as bigger than the team.
Especially them who didn't want anything with Uruguay. Because if it was these guys that have got here, like Obdulio Varela, who won the 1950 World Cup, okay, it's good. If Obdulio Varela is saying like Bielsa is a stupid man, okay, I understand you won the World Cup.
Yeah.
But you're Fede Valverde, who won nothing, like a bunch of games against Argentina and Brazil, you can say anything.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of funny. Uh, I think that after the game, you posted some stuff on Instagram, like the pictures of these guys. I don't remember if you had some caption, but I don't
Come
know.
back, come
Come
back.
back, yeah, come on. It was like, damn. But actually, I don't know if you read this, but there are some rumors that a potential substitute could be Gallardo.
Mhm.
Um, this is a guy that always gets mentioned here in Brazil. Every time Palmeiras and Flamengo's coaches are under like some constant
In a crisis or something.
in a crisis, yeah, the name of Gallardo always comes up. So, what do you think of him?
I like him. I'm not really sure about hiring another Argentinian. To me, it's not important. So like,
Have you?
especially Bielsa, maybe it's kind of a different situation, but Gallardo has a really big relation with Uruguay. Like he became a manager in Uruguay. He played in Nacional,
Mhm.
and like a lot of his success came from Nacional. Actually, like it was the reason why he then went to River.
Yeah.
So seems like a good choice. But the thing is, AUF, the Uruguayan FA,
Hmm.
will have like political problems right now. So there probably won't be any new managers until a new
Anytime soon.
president gets elected
Hmm.
or something happens with that.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. And the other guy that some people were pointing out, which I would really like to see, is Abel Ferreira.
Really?
I would really like to see Abel Ferreira at Uruguay.
I don't know if he would accept.
He would never leave Palmeiras, but I would
Yeah,
love to see Abel Ferreira at Uruguay.
I think that he would only leave Palmeiras if he got an invitation to manage either the Seleção, Brazil, or Portugal national team,
Yeah.
or maybe an European club or something. But that would be really funny. Yeah, it would be interesting to see.
Some people were actually pointing out him, and then there's some Uruguayan coaches, but they aren't really good. Like
Mhm.
there's not a single Uruguayan coach who's good enough, except for one guy who's a serious candidate, in my opinion, who's called Marcelo Broli,
Mhm.
who won the U20s World Cup 2 years ago.
Mhm.
So maybe he's
Maybe.
like a good choice,
Mhm.
but I don't know, man.
Mhm.
I didn't. I think that I'm actually making a video about this, but I think the U20s World Cup from 2 years ago is an example of how a random team, can win a tournament
Mhm.
without really deserving it. Like we played the semifinals against Israel and the final against Italy,
Yeah.
from which none of those players are now playing in the first division. 2 years later,
Yeah. The, but like no one is even like being called up to the first national team. Like,
in Uruguay, there's only one guy actually, and he went
wow,
to Saudi Arabia, and Bielsa didn't call him up anymore.
wow.
So none of those, many of them went to Arabia and Qatar and stuff like that,
Uh huh.
which is like, okay, you're basically ruining your career for money. It's okay,
Yeah.
but you'll have to accept it.
Yeah.
And then there's other ones who just didn't become good enough.
Hmm. Yeah. But just to close off this segment, you mentioned Alf, and that's some funny news that I really I really laughed when I read it that the Alf canceled the flight back, the chartered flight back to the national team, and that each player must like get his own tickets for in commercial planes or something. I mean, it's funny to think this is some sort of punishment. I don't think it is because, like, okay, like the players are now in vacation. Probably there's some of them who want to stay in North America to watch the rest of the World Cup. So I think it's more in that sense that they canceled. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I don't work it off, but I thought it was really funny to read the news. What do you think? Do you think it's like some sort of punishment or no?
I see it as a punishment, to be honest, like a punishment for basically taking us to this situation, not
Yeah,
because of the results, because of the way we got here.
yeah,
The way everybody's just like saying what the fuck they think about the national team, like systematically disrespecting the national team.
hmm,
So I think that's pretty much the reason, and also the fact that there's a charter flight coming back to Uruguay with 11 guys. Well, actually, like 26 guys
hmm,
who basically did a disaster. So nobody's going to expect like wait for them.
yeah, yeah,
And if someone goes to the airport to wait for them, which is like a typical thing to do here,
hmm,
uh, they're basically going to get insulted. So
yeah,
I don't really think that there's much. There's many reasons why they would want to get that flight.
yeah,
So I think I think that the players didn't like that. To be honest, and I am a bit sad for some like Araujo or
Mm,
Bentancur who actually had a good World Cup,
yeah,
but it is what it is, man.
yeah,
I think
they,
they kind of deserve like some bad treatment
yeah, yeah. I mean,
because I mean, again, in a supermarket, these guys would die just working with a regular boss. They would die, and they're just, I don't know, man.
I mean, Alf needs to send a message, and I think this might be a good one, you know. But speaking of other Sudamerican country, we have Brazil. Brazil's moving on to the second stage. And before I told you about how I view Brazil's performance in the group stage. And to me, this is not as something really related to collective performance. This is more like individual players shining through, you know, making developing during the games. For example, like we have Rafinha, which
Hmm.
came into the World Cup as like one of the best players in Barcelona and Europe and all that stuff, and really not performing at all. I mean, like he's injured, so he'll be out for a couple of matches still, but he was really not delivering in terms of performance, in terms of behavior. The guy's also in a really complicated personal situation.
Yeah, I heard something like that, right?
He was reportedly having some financial problems, if you can believe it. A superstar from Barcelona is having financial problems. But the story is that he switched managers. His father was his former manager, and he switched for his father-in-law, the father from
Uh-huh.
his wife. But the thing is, most of Rafinha's money and assets and all that stuff were actually in the name of his father. So when Rafinha and his wife tried to buy another mansion or something like that, they found out that they had no money. So
Right.
they got a bit fucked in that, and he's having like some mental problems. I mean, guy has no money, so you know how that could affect someone's mind. But the guy who stepped up in his place was Raya. And Raya is a youngster that people really had their hopes on before the World Cup. Him and Endrick were the names that everybody was pleading Ancelotti to put in the starting 11, because these are the guys that like show an actual hunger to win, and
Uh-huh.
Rafinha didn't really. So Raya was a very uh,
Where
uh,
does he play?
Raya is now playing in the Premier League, if I'm not mistaken, Nottingham Forest, I think. He was he was before he was in Vasco, and now he's
Uh-huh.
in some team in the Premier League. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was a big surprise. And then we also have Mateus Cunha. Mateus Cunha consolidating himself as a striker, as a number 9. He's not actually a striker per se. He
Yeah.
does a different role in the field.
He used to be like like a number 8, I would say, right?
Yeah, he's more like a number 10. He's more like a false 9 in some aspects.
Uh-huh.
So, but the guy, like, I think he has like 2 or 3 goals, you know. So he's performing very well, and
But he
he
like sort of evolved over time. Like he at the beginning
yeah
of his career, he was much more of a midfielder, and then went
yeah
on to
yeah. It's something like that. It's actually funny. He I don't know how to say, he was revealed. He came from Curitiba, which is like
oh,
the rival of Paranaense. He never played in the professional team, only in the kids
in the
category,
youth
and the
team.
yeah
Yeah.
the junior team. But now he's in United. I'm not sure if of the role he plays in United. I don't think he's a striker, as like a striker. But yeah, he's been a good surprise as well.
How's it feeling in Brazil towards the possible Exa?
I think now we are more hyped about it than before the World Cup, because the friendlies against Japan and stuff were not that promising. And now Morocco really wasn't a good game. But then Haiti, then Scotland, people, it feels like people don't want to give in completely to the feeling, but you can see in everybody's eyes and in everybody's speech, like, oh, let's
This
go.
might be the time.
Let's go, you know. And I think the game against Japan will be an actual like thermometer, you know. It will actually define our World Cup.
Because if I'm not mistaken, Haiti like really put Morocco in trouble, right?
I mean, I haven't watched the game, but this it was like 4-2, right? I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
I
4-2.
remember that Haiti began the game winning and everything. Like I'm checking the results
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Yeah.
But
It wasn't like a walk in the park for Morocco, for sure.
yeah, seemed to be something like that, especially with the game against Brazil.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's a difference. There's a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
Brazil won against Haiti with their eyes closed. Like
Yeah.
there was absolutely no trouble. Like I kept in my mind the moment where Rafinha was injured.
Uh-huh.
You just walked out of the game like, well, fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
This is just a practice, you know?
Yeah, yeah. But actually, I think that one of the key factors that is making people believe more and more in the EXA is that this guy finally showed up. Because
Yeah,
Vini Jr. was being criticized in these past years for not performing the same way he did in Madrid, in the Seleção. And now he seemed to really understand the part he's playing in the Seleção, the importance he has. 4 goals. He's just behind Messi and tied with other guys for sure, but
yeah.
now I think we can trust more in Vini Jr. because the feeling was okay. We can trust this guy to carry us to the EXA, you know. And now I think that, and he's not involving himself in trouble off the pitch, you know.
Yeah.
He
He's low
seems really
key.
focused. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's lower key.
yeah.
That's
So
better. That's a better. Well, I don't know, but I think the Ancelotti addition to Brazil really helped him. Like Ancelotti
for
seems to
sure.
be a guy who really understands him,
Yeah,
and he probably has got like this thing that we were talking earlier that Bielsa's lacking, like the
yeah,
human side. You know, he seems
exactly.
to be really good with Brazilian players, especially,
Yeah.
and actually he like speaks Portuguese very fluently.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes he mixes up with Spanish, and actually that caused some a little bit of trouble because after the first or second game, I don't remember well. He said that he was asked about Endrick and why Endrick wasn't playing, and his answer was something like, "Oh, Endrick não tem as competências," or something like that. And in Spanish, competencia means something, but in Portuguese, it means like he has no skill. So people were
Yeah,
like quick to attack him, like, "Oh, he's attacking Endrick, what the fuck?" But then, like, it's just
but
because of a language mix.
what did he actually mean?
I don't know, is that Endrick wasn't fit for this competencia or something for
Okay.
this part of the tournament or something like that. It was something really stupid, but people mixed up the languages. But anyways, and then to cap it off, the prince is back, baby.
Yeah.
The guy's back on pitch. And I know it was like just 20 or 15 minutes or something, but Neymar did on the pitch exactly what everyone is expecting him to do. He's not going to be the guy that's going to carry the ball through half the pitch and score a goal like dribbling 7 guys. He's going to find the passes. You know, the guy gets the ball, looks forward, finds a difficult pass or a difficult shot or something. So for 20 minutes, the guy delivered exactly what I was hoping he would deliver. And
Right.
I'm hopeful to see how he performs in the knockout stage because I
His
think that this
performance.
is where he shines.
I just finished.
No, no, I was just saying, like, I think in the knockout stage is where he truly shines. So
Right.
let's see.
No, I just was. There were like many mixed feelings towards the Neymar comeback. At
Mhm.
least from what I was able to listen. So from what you're saying, I realized that many people were expecting Neymar to be like 2018 Neymar, playing again, like bringing the ball, being like super skillful, like bringing the ball from one box to the other one or whatever. And obviously, that's not anymore. That doesn't exist anymore. But
I mean, to me, the people who were expecting that is the people who are hoping that he fails, because the true fans, they know that he's not going to perform the same. You know, they hope that he in the field in the short amount of time he has on the pitch, he can be decisive. But he's not going to be PSG Neymar. He's not going to be Barcelona Neymar. The people with a little bit of with sense in their minds know that. But
yeah.
I saw some comments after the game against Scotland of the people that don't like him. They were like, "Oh, what did he do? He didn't do shit. Like he even on the pitch? No one could notice him." I was like, "Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about, you know." So there's definitely the people who want him to fail, but I think that a lot of Brazilians are hoping him to succeed and to be decisive in the key moments, which
Right.
is what we expect of the hero. But now, just to confirm, you'll be supporting Brazil?
I am
Nah,
officially Diego Silveira, torcedor da seleção brasileira.
vamos caralho. But yeah, so this is the main stories for today. Just to cap off our episode, Martine, I'm going to start with you. What's the recommendation you have for this week?
This week, I think I'm going to recommend Bielsa's book. Actually, it's not
Okay.
Bielsa's book. It is here. And it's actually a book that's about a friend of him who basically was like translating for him in the whole 2018 season for Leeds United.
Leeds, yeah.
It's I think it's interesting because it's a book that doesn't have like crazy stories or like stuff that's out of the world. It's like a book that pictures the regular side of life at a professional football club that's trying to get to the Premier League, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it basically goes through every single day at work with Marcelo Bielsa and with all the people in the team and everything. And I mean, every time there was a player that got injured, what they talked about, what happened, where were the problems, and like the guy basically had a job and was to be like the middle point between the managers and the players.
Yeah.
So he was like kind of a friend of the players, and he would talk a lot to them, and he would make like just like reunions with the like meetings with the players and talk about like different values that would like help the team become stronger. So, for example, this is an old story, but once they just were able to convince the players of cleaning the whole Leeds United training ground, which was full of trash and everything. Oh
yeah.
okay, wait. But yeah, that's the recommendation. 1 second.
No worries, no worries. That's Bielsa cutting off your power, man. But my recommendation for this week, actually, it might be not that useful, but I have to mention it anyways. In the past days here in Brazil, there's been a war going on between different TV broadcasts for the World Cup. And there's a channel that's gaining a lot of notoriety called Casé TV, and they're broadcasting every single game of the World Cup, completely like subverting expectations because for a long, long time, Globo, which is the main TV channel of Brazil, was associated with the World Cup, and now they don't have the exclusivity to all the games. They have some advantage in the Seleção games because Globo doesn't have a delay like YouTube has, but Casé TV is really like making history. Broadcasting the World Cup in for free on YouTube, all the matches. So they're really doing a great job. So check them out. If you don't know Portuguese, it might be not that useful, but good work must be always shared. So Casé TV is really doing an awesome job.
Is it available globally?
I know that their parent company called Live Mode, they're broadcasting it to Portugal. I don't know how it works to access from outside of Brazil. Maybe you need to use some sort of VPN or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely. There should be something like that.
Yeah, but anyways, that's my recommendation for today's guys. I hope that you enjoyed another episode of the Sudamericans podcast. We'll be here next week. Martin, thank you once again.
It's been a pleasure, man. Thank you again. And hopefully next week we come back with a topic that you told me it was going to be amazing. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I have to tell you about that. Actually, right after the recording, I'm going to mention it to you. But anyways, thanks again, guys. Martin, vai Brasil.
Vamos Brasil, cara.
That's it, guys.
I'm going to grab my Havaianas.
And your panero. Nice.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, see you later, guys.
Bye-bye.